I think the world finally saw who Jimmy Butler is as a hooper. His mindset, simplicity, and pure will to win were all on another level. And I'm going to break down his entire game under the microscope. So first, Jimmy has one of the simplest playing styles of any ball-dominant player in the league. It's mostly just straight line attacks, limited moves, and getting downhill to make stuff happen. And while it does seem almost oversimplified, so bear with me, in ISO situations, most time he just goes. Whether it's off the dribble or off a triple threat, he just puts his head down without even really making a move most times and gets downhill. And that's something many inexperienced players are missing. But more importantly, he goes at the right time. I would guess that he's not looking at his initial defender as much, but rather that help on the second layer. And once they leave their help position, that's when he goes to the bucket. Like here, he sees Rondo hugging his man in the corner, Kuzma and Caruso leaving help position, and then AD outside the paint. He knows he can get by his man, so that second layer is what he's focusing on. Same thing with this as he goes after Zion gets drawn out of that paint. Easily his most deadly move is that shimmy out of the triple threat. So pay attention to his footwork. As soon as that right foot taps the ground, he rocks back with the ball and then goes. This play is a pretty good demonstration of what happens defensively on these. Ingram shifts his weight slightly onto his left foot because he thinks Butler is going. He shimmies back and you'll see all of Ingram's weight on his right foot now, as seen by his left foot coming off the ground. Now this is an easy drive. Also notice how he rotates his shoulders and upper body a little bit. This just sells that illusion even more. And last, notice how on every single one of these he takes that step across his frame first, which turns that defender's stance and gives him that top foot. So that shimmy is that much more effective. He also likes using this delayed rip move, where he rips through basically in slow motion until he gets past that second knee, and then he explodes out full speed. Defenders don't really expect him to rip through after that slow swing, so it freezes them really well. Finally, he likes to get going to his left, attacking middle from the right side, and he does it very physically. For one, most right-hand players like pulling up and shooting floaters from their left hand, which partially explains it. And also does seem like he's more comfortable bullying with that right shoulder. But if they do take this away, he'll easily counterback baseline. One thing you'll notice about Butler is that he's low-key playing bully ball out there. But it's crafty bully ball, like using this long spin that forces his defender backwards and gets him into the middle of the paint. Butler drives, spins, goes right to the rim and gets it. And also like coming to a stop where he'll come to 2 feet with his back turned, basically with that same spin footwork, stop short, knock the defender backwards, and then turn around for a little jumper. As a defender, what can you do here other than move backwards, considering he's too controlled for you to take a charge? He also frequently uses these long strides to slow him down. By slowing down, he's letting the defender pass him, which leaves him a little bit of space. Plus, by slowing himself down, he actually has time to fake defenders mid-stride with these mini ball fakes. And it's good for transition so he's not out of control into the finish. He also shoots 9 free throws a game, and that's a product of 1, getting downhill and putting pressure on the defense, but just as important is knowing how to sell these calls. And notice that he doesn't sell these before that shot's up in the air. For the most part, he'll get that shot up and then sell it, so he still has a chance to make that shot. Plus, he doesn't just go to the bucket trying to draw a foul. He goes trying to finish, and knows that that foul is pretty likely. You'll also notice that he uses these hop floaters a ton, jumping straight up in the air. He gets a lot of elevation on these, which makes it really hard for even any big to contest. Also, watch how he releases it as he's reaching the top of his jump, which creates that perfect energy transfer into the shot. And even further out from that is a short jumper game. Notice that because he's so good with these, he doesn't have to finish at the bucket every time, which would take serious energy to do. So I'd recommend that every taller guard especially work on these jumpers. So the first thing you'll notice about Jimmy in the pick and roll is that it almost looks like he's never really attacking at full speed. His patience is huge as he's surveying and looking for that opening. And then when he sees it, that's when he puts his foot on the gas. Also, most of his pick and rolls aren't your average pick and rolls. Many of these are guard to guard, which defenses aren't really used to and create a ton of confusion. Like here, Rondo has absolutely no idea whether to switch or to stay with his initial man. Also notice how far out he starts on some of these so that he's able to get moving downhill. Even here, he'll go away from the bucket first, so he's able to have more steam going downhill when he meets that defender who went under the screen. And speaking of that, defenders go under his screens a lot, but he's gotten really good at attacking it. Most times he'll attack at a slower speed, and then as he gets that angle, he jets to the rim. But until then, there's no reason to rush as he's reading the defense. And if they do go over, he likes to angle it back towards the inside, which allows him to go at a slower speed and still have that space from the initial defender. Jimmy Butler in the paint, throws it up and in. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. As always, let me know if you want to see anything else. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at ByAnyMeansBasketball for a lot more.